Hey, welcome to Rock and Roll Medicine. I'm here with David Reece from Bangalore Choir. How are you doing today, David?
Hello, Rock and Roll Medicine. It is I, David Reece. See you, Denny.
The one and only.
Ha ha. You.
So where are you at?
I'm in I'm about an hour south of Milan, Italy.
Okay. So it's late or early
It's about, right now, it's quarter to 10
at night.
evening time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Dude, Italy.
yeah.
That's
Just
gotta be
about my
nice.
bedtime. It's almost bedtime.
Almost bedtime. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I just got up and I'm already tired. How's so it's seriously like hot where I'm at, and it has been for the past week and a half. It's been about 100. Hasn't let up, and it's killing. What's it like there? Just out of
I am
curiosity. Same.
in really bad humidity. I mean, we got real lucky in July. Normally it's terrible. It came late, around the 10th, I think. We got nailed. It's supposed to break, I think, in 2 days. My wife said get
Yeah,
some rain, but it's
that's
been miserable.
that's the same here as well. But I'm just like, man, I've had about enough of it. And I'm originally from West Coast, California, and it's usually not this. I don't. It's a different kind of hot, right? So,
Hmm.
um, anyway, enough about the weather. I know that's not what we're here. Um, but you've been kind of, I don't want to say busy, but you got a new album out, um, and I got the first single, Bullet Train, and so kind of tell me about the album a little bit.
Uh, the way it all kind of transpired is I've been doing the solo thing for a few years, and I had, believe it or not, never played France and throughout my whole career. I've skirted around France. Don't ask me why. Belgium, Holland, all that I've done. And I was playing some pretty well attended shows in France, and I've been kind of watching the branding thing, and I felt like I'd left some unfinished business with Bangalore Choir anyway. And on the way back to Italy, I was sitting in the van thinking, you know what? Why don't I bring it back to life? The name for branding reasons, public appeal, and because I play a lot of those songs from the first album in my set, I have for years. And it's astonishing to me that how many people know those songs. Because when grunge came, we basically were dropped off the face of the earth.
Right.
We had great momentum. And then I was told the music business for rock was dead all over the planet. So if I'd have known, and I've said in interviews before, I would have drugged the group over here to the UK and Europe. And because grunge really didn't touch this area until about a year or two later. And it didn't last very long.
Right. It didn't.
So we had a great market that I was told did not exist. And when I start playing these songs live, I'm like, it did exist. Yeah, I did Firefest in 2010, and we had to have three original members to do the show. And we got a couple of the guys to agree. First song to the last. Unbelievable. And we hadn't played together for like 19 years at that time. We recorded that show and made a record out. Sold out big in England. And yeah, it was just one of those missteps. But I always felt like this is what, as a singer, represents me, I think, the best, hard rock,
Yeah. Yeah.
melodic vocals. So I kind of went on a heavy splurge for a while with Baptized by Fire and a few others. I mean, Cacophony of Souls is far more melodic, but yeah, I don't know. I just had this gut feeling. And so I called the management and said, hey, I'm going to the name back together, but it'll be David Reece. And they were like, thank God, we can really open the market now that, I mean, we were looking at Mike Tramp's White Lion and all this
Right.
happening. And there's a reason for that because people see that
Right.
brand, they go, I'm buying a ticket or I'm buying that record or I'm going to stream that song.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors involved. Yeah. But you want me to continue with the process or?
Well, I was just kind of wondering, you kind of backtrack a little bit. So, did you start in 91 for this, or was this earlier? Because I feel like 91, that's when things were changing, right? And I think there's more
Well,
just grunge that kind of hurt the market. It was
oh
the big,
yeah, we killed ourselves. We cut our own heads off.
yeah, and
I don't
country
know
didn't
this.
help either because
Huh?
if you look at the Billboard charts, country was number one. Garth Brooks
Yeah.
was taking over. So
Yeah.
I don't, me personally, I don't contribute everything to grunge. Sure, there was a change in music, but I think there was a lot of factors, more than one factor in everything, right?
Well,
And
it
I
was
think
Bon
you,
Jovi country.
yeah,
It
right,
wasn't really.
yeah,
It wasn't.
and I,
I'm from Oklahoma, so I grew up on real country. I mean, that was to me like a Bon Jovi pop country, basically
yeah,
went to.
and I had a friend tell me when all this was happening, he's like, "Have you been to a country show?" And I'm like, "Not really." I mean, I started out working for Bill Graham Presents doing
Hmm.
security, and I started taking notice after he mentioned it that he's like, "Where did the girls go?" Right? All the girls went to the country, where all the guys were into the more heavier, they went to more thrash, the harder stuff, Ministry and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and Metallica and stuff. So the girls flocked to country, pretty much left the 80s bands high and dry. And so I think that's because, I mean, theoretically, you think about it, you go with your girlfriend, right? Wherever she's wanting to go,
Yeah,
that's where you go. And
you go where the panties are. I
yeah,
mean,
and I don't know what country does in the UK and Italy and all that stuff. I don't know how popular it is, but it's kind of taken
but
over here. Yeah.
Paisley is big. Keith Urban, yeah. I mean, you'd be amazed. I think Garth actually does pretty dang good too. He'll come over every couple of years and sell out 5 nights at Wembley. I mean, it's
Yeah,
nuts.
right.
It's a bunch of
Insane.
UK guys wearing cowboy hats. It's weird, but yeah,
So did
I
you
completely concur.
when you were making because when you released the first album, was there a lot of buzz around it and then it just sort of like dropped?
Absolutely. I mean, it was. Listen, I could not have had a better game plan. I had Howard Kaufman managing me, who had Whitesnake and Stevie Nicks and Henley and Hart, and my personal assistant was Glenn Parrish, who was Stevie Nicks's right hand guy. I had Warner Brothers, Giant Warner with Irving Azoff. Um,
Yeah, Max Norman
you couldn't
too,
have
right?
asked. Max was the original producer, but Kurt Mitchell, once the mixes went down, and I'm not bashing Max, Kurt just wasn't satisfied, so they called Jimbo Barton from Queensryche, but the label only agreed to remix 4 of the songs, the hits, the singles,
Right.
and leave the rest that Max had done. So you've got like 4 tremendously powerful sounding songs, and then you've got 6 others that sound like Max's production. Not bashing Max, but yeah. But we had, if you could have asked for a better situation, you couldn't, because I mean, we went out and did some gigs with Badlands and Lynch Mob, and we were up for the Slip of the Tongue tour, which came crashing down like literally days before. Uh, and then we had like Loaded Gun. I mean, there was a couple outside writers in the record: Steve Plunkett from Autograph, Bon Jovi, and Aldo Nova, and the guy from Styx, the bassist, wrote Loaded Gun, because that was like corporate pressure. We need make sure we've got the dialed in radio songs.
Right.
Uh,
Because that's the time where they were pushing everything radio, right?
yeah,
Everything radio.
yeah.
Was there any
Much of
push?
the band.
Was there push for MTV as well?
Oh yeah, we were started out when Rackham was doing the Hot 60, and then we moved up to 30. We had 144 stations on ad day the first week for the first single.
Damn.
But a little band out of Seattle called Nirvana
Yep.
added like 60,000 full rotations the first month. I think we did like 350,000 units the first week. They did 600,000.
Wow.
So they were sort of like platinum basically the first after Nevermind came out.
Right.
And then continually as the weeks went on, we were going down. they were going. I think they hit 6 million in the first 90 days. It was insane. So you go from all of that to this phone call, come into the office, and I'm thinking it's a corporate thing, put the boots up and let's talk for the future. And they said, you're done, we're dropping. It's over. It was just like, I thought it was a joke. I was like, what? Hard rock is dead. And now, in retrospect, like you said, how many bands had a lead singer? Even I dyed my hair blonde, wore the predictable frontman thing, the David Lee Roth following.
You're
But we
right.
did
The
it for so
boots.
long. Then you get a band, like you said, the male audience. Now you got to kind of look at it as a cultural thing as well. And I think music is really about that. That area was, raining all the time, economically gone, a single parent homes, kids going, you know what,
Yep.
life sucks, but this guy is speaking to me. He's what I'm thinking of. And how many guys that are dressed like that and living like that can say, I'm down at the cat house and I got 5 chicks and I've got a Harley parked out front. It's just so unrealistic. So they
Right.
basically, we shot ourselves in the foot. It was time. And it was very painful. I remember being in a kitchen at a barbecue with Janie Lane. I think Piercy was there, a bunch of guys. All of us were standing in the kitchen drunk, saying, what are we going to do, man? We all got dropped, like in a month. And so what do we do? Let's write a grunge record. Let's follow the trend.
Right.
And the real grunge fans knew it was false effort to stay relevant. So that even hurt you more. Yeah. So it was a terrible timing thing. I mean, everybody I knew was done.
Yeah.
And some great records came out in 92, 91, 92. Some really great hard rock albums.
Yeah, there's some that I like that came out, and and I just think, I mean, it's hard to say, but technically, you just guys need to take a break, not so much cut it out. Or the
Yeah.
record company shouldn't have just dropped you. They said, "Hey,
Mhm.
let's wait and see what's gonna happen. Then we'll go from
All
there."
about the money.
It
So
is.
it's only about money. They don't give a if you live or die. I mean,
But
that's the harsh reality.
so fast
You're losing
forward,
money.
yeah. So fast forward, up what? YouTube, right? YouTube has been um great for getting a lot of young people back into the 80s hard rock and all
Mhm.
this. It's crazy when I watch this stuff, because they absolutely love our era, you know,
Mhm.
and and for good reason. It was fun. We weren't taking anybody serious, and if you did,
Mhm.
I don't know what you were on, but
Yeah.
because it wasn't about that at all. and
Yeah.
and you watch these reaction videos and the kids are friggin' digging it. And
It's a
you gain
weird thing.
it is, and now you got streaming on top of it. Has that helped you at all as far as how this goes with the branding and everything
Financially,
else?
no, but it's the mantra of the age. I remember when CDs came out, they came in a long box.
Yes.
And when they were in the record stores, the reason they did is because they had vinyl there and they had to have a longer box so they could sort through it alphabetically. I've still got some here of that record. And I thought it was a retarded idea because it's just this little plastic CD inside the bottom of this long strip.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool collector thing now. But, you got to roll with the punches. I mean, how many people do you know that have 20,000 CDs in their basement and their wife saying, hey, I want to make that my woman cave, or, I want to make that
Right.
another room in the house. You've got this mountain of CDs and you listen to like 5 of your favorite bands, but you're hoarding this whole room. So what they do is they go to streaming or they download everything onto the computer and they can listen to those favorite tracks. So everything with the world changing has even changed that to where streaming seems to be the viable way to get yourself out there, and Instagram and bands in town and all these things. You
Hmm.
have to be on top of the game. That's where Brave Words is. Michael Brandvold is great at that.
So
He's
yeah, you
I
just
mean,
hire great PR.
yeah, a guy like me is completely clueless when it comes to what it really takes to reach those
Yes.
guys you're talking about on YouTube, because they're their attention span is
Yeah.
like a squirrel monkey. You know what I mean? If it doesn't grab them,
Hmm.
they're moving.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews, right? And I used to have them on a hard drive. I'd put them on a website. Nobody really traction. And then, of course, you know, hard drive crashes. Now I got to get that damn thing fixed. And I've been slowly putting them on YouTube because that's where everybody goes. And
mhm,
unfortunately, trying to get traction on YouTube is it's kind of tough as well. I mean, I literally
wonder about.
2 days ago finally decided, okay, I'm going to try this TikTok crap just
Mhm,
to get
yeah.
traffic over to YouTube because I do photography, concert photography as well. So I post my pictures there, and then maybe, I still have a website, but nobody goes there. I could pimp it out all day long, but nobody, so it's kind of pointless if you ask me.
We spend
But
a lot of time trying to figure out how to get somebody's attention, social
yes,
media, because it's so minimal. I mean, I always reckon it to McDonald's drive-through. I don't know about you, but when I used to eat that stuff, before I left the parking lot, I'd finish my fries, and by the time I hit the first stoplight, I'd forgotten what I'd ordered. And it
right,
seems like music became, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Music
yeah,
became kind of disposable like that. And you have to have it. We'll go back to the branding, the golden
yeah,
arches. I mean, everybody knows what that is. So it's all about that. You have to really reach into your inner creative spirit and try to find that thing and then keep building on that. And because music is from the blues, what we do, we're not changing the world
right,
at all. A good song is a good song, but what we're doing has been done way before you and I were even, staying on mom's mattress. So,
right, absolutely,
not to be rude, but I mean, it's all about that eye-catching ear candy, eyes and ears. You know what I mean?
uh huh,
Where MTV was that thing. I remember when MTV started, and it was like, what the hell is the spaceman in this
yeah.
band? Ban ban and
And
we
everybody
watched
thought
it.
it was going to
Yeah,
kill radio, you know?
and it kind of did. Yeah, everything went to in radio in those days, like the pirate radio stations, all conglomerated and bought all the stations. So
Yeah, they're
now
all
it's serious.
corporate.
Yeah, and it just, if you're not willing to work in what's the atmosphere, you're going to fail.
Yeah. I mean,
They're not
my
going to come to you.
right. Corporate media, I mean, pretty much iHeart, I think, owns majority of the stakes in
Yeah,
radio.
it's just
I
like
mean,
touring. I mean,
in the 2000s, I wanted to buy a radio station, and that was just literally impossible. And then
mhm,
there, all the red tape that goes along with it is insane because I didn't like
licensing.
they were paying the same thing over and over and over. So what I've done a few online radio stations and whatnot. Right now, I'm currently I broadcast on Bikers Inner Circle Radio on Saturdays.
Cool.
I do 2 hour show. It's just hard rock, heavy metal. And
Hmm.
I'm pretty much the only one who does that because the bikers are more like Leonard Skinner and do a lot of country. But I come in and I mix things up a little bit, which is good because you need variety if your station is gonna be viable. Um,
No, you can't just play Born to Be Wild every 30 minutes and
yeah,
expect the
right,
station to survive, right? You know what I mean?
for sure. So I'm gonna take you back. You were also frontman for Accept,
It
um,
was.
and what album was that on?
That
Because
was
I'm
called Eat the Heat. Um, are you talking about the label or the title of the album?
the album.
Yeah, it was called Eat the Heat. It was on RCA and Epic, um,
What
big corporate thing.
what year was that?
And 88, I believe, 88, 89. Yeah. So I got fired from Accept, and then because before I was in Accept, I was in LA and I couldn't get arrested. Everybody that's a waiter is an actor, and every guy with his hair done up is a singer in a rock and roll band. So
Right.
if you're not playing the whiskey once a month or passing out flyers, nobody gives it. You can't get arrested. So when I came back from the accepting, I had the ball rolling. I could walk in anywhere and you're that dude that was in accept. So it was like night and day, like the light switch. So the momentum I capitalized on and built Bangalore Choir, the connections and people opening their doors to you, whereas before they locked them in the face. So I owe a lot to the accept failure, if you want to look at it that way.
Well,
But the
I
weird
think
thing about that
I don't know
album
if it was
is
a
it
failure. I would say it
well,
was a door opening, or you know,
there was no middle ground. They either love me or they absolutely despise me. I mean, Udo and I are friends since '88. He is to me is the voice of accept. That was the real accept. And living in Europe, one thing that I realized during that record, we'd go see him play with his band. And I asked the management one day, what is it about that? And she said something that struck me like a claw hammer in the skull. He's one of them, meaning he was the barbarian guy that made it out of hell and they identified with him. He wasn't the guy that could get all the chicks. He was
I
bare
got it.
bones, screaming his guts out like a little pit bull. And they were playing those heavy riffs, and they were so proud that this band came out of their country. Because, except remember, we're like number 2, and Scorps were number 1
Right.
when I joined the band. We were the second biggest band in Europe, basically. And the fans here will stick around if you got a couple stinker records. The loyalty is locked tight, whereas in America, like you said, here today, gone later today. But over here, there was a lot of people offended by that move because they saw it as a corporate thing. Hey, you're taking away our band
Right.
to break the United States, which was the whole concept. Hey, we can only sell so many records with Udo in America. We need to get this thing in the platinum status because this band's got the goods. We can do that with this band, but it didn't work.
How hard was that?
I'm proud
Yeah.
of it. I mean, I love the
I
record.
mean,
I
how hard was that to accept? I mean, like,
for me,
yeah, or was
it
it pretty
wasn't
easy to
easy.
move on?
It was terrible to move on. I mean, I thought my life was over. I mean, it was, you go from that to like, now what? And I
Right.
just said, screw it. I'm going to LA and I'll show you a lot of that. Watch me. And I did.
Well,
And,
the
it kind of
drive,
shook their
right?
boat a little. They
It's
thought I
about
was
you.
done. They thought they destroyed me. And I refused to put the torch down. And I picked it up. And timing with grunge, of course, every one of us suffered, except suffered when grunge hit. I mean, they went out as a 3-piece with Udo singing, and then they went to Russia, and they were just sick of each other. Wasn't working. And it died, and when they came
Right.
back, Udo left, and God bless him, he's doing better now than he was then.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to his new, I think it's his new album, and he's got all these. He's doing different renditions of all his old
Mhm.
tracks, even with Accept, and they got special guests on them and doing different versions, and it sounds
Mhm.
good. I mean, he still sounds good. I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
We toured with him. We probably did 38 shows together. I opened them. I was a special guest in 2018, 19 Steel Factory album tour. And it was a thing. It was a really good move because the fans are like, "Oh, the old singer took his job as opening."
Right.
We played a lot of big shows, and I can tell you, night after night, he was the same, and I was too. But he's just got this kind of like Panzer tank thing that he can do with 104 temperature. Matter of fact, he had a really severe bone infection in one of his legs, and he had contracted it in Spain. And they said, "Go home, it's bad." And I said, "I will never cancel." And I watched the guy go on stage every night with a cane, and it was like really shiny, so they duct taped it with black so you couldn't see it. And then one night in Hamburg, I saw him literally trip on the stairs and smash his face right when he went on, you know, head first, and did the gig. And you
Damn.
would never have known. He's bulletproof.
Damn.
I mean, he's human, but I mean,
He's always seemed bulletproof throughout the
yeah.
years, because you think, oh, his name would just pop up everywhere.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah, he's like Halford. You can't kill him. It's like the
And,
Energizer Bunny.
Doro Pesh too. She's
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
way.
Hmm.
She may not do America, but damn, she's
Well,
putting
that
out
goes back
albums
to the
every couple
German
of years.
loyalty. That goes back
Yeah,
to she's one of us. She's comes from our territory. We are with her. She is our girl. And she opened the door for, I mean, how many girl bands you see out now?
yeah,
Metal bands? I mean, that's attributed to her. Warlock. I
yeah,
remember when she was a shy little kid in Warlock and it was not really working. And then now look at her. Because she has that legion of people that believe in her and love her, as do I.
yeah.
So,
It's crazy, right?
yeah,
I
man.
mean, not
Yeah.
crazy in a lunatic way, but like how things work, how people respond. Um,
Mm.
you know, um, it's just amazing to me. And I was talking to this earlier with Jimmy, um, how we connect with people, right? It's with food, music, and community, right? It's you know, you can go anywhere. If you leave the damn politics out of it and just go have a beer with somebody and whatnot, the community drives and music and whatnot, and that's the best thing. It doesn't, and you can pretty much put on anything. I mean, you're gonna somebody's gonna like it, someone's not gonna like it, blah blah blah, whatever. But
I mean,
music
it's been
brings
that
people
way
together.
since the
Yeah,
beginning of time.
yeah,
Cavemen making
yeah,
banging on sticks, and then the Celtics and all this stuff. When then all the immigrants came to America, they brought over their Irish and English influences and hooked up with the black blues players and created Appalachian, bluegrass music. And then the South, you got all these guys like Wolf and all those guys that created this mysterious Chicago thing, and Albert King, and then Elvis pops out,
yeah.
and being Americans like you and I, there should have been a lot of more black artists that took the
Oh, absolutely.
mantra and
Yeah, yeah,
besides Elvis, but he's a white dude in that time of our culture. And then you had the Beatles come in and destroy him and put him in residencies in Vegas. And it's the same thing with grunge. I mean, it's like it seems like every 10 years something explodes
yeah.
with music, but it's always a topic of conversation. I mean, you
Correct.
go to a cafe, you can strum through the song list, put in a 25-cent piece, and pick your favorite song while you're
Hmm.
having a soda. You're right. It's a community. Metal is a community. Hard rock will never lose the community. I mean, I've seen Pantera and Metallica. There's kids that are like 10, and there's people up there in their 70s and 80s.
Yes,
It's the craziest group of fans that I've ever seen. It's amazing. It's
it's
almost makes
awesome.
you
I
want to
mean,
cry.
it,
You want to cry. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
And they're singing Walk. They're singing, bell tolls. I mean, 70-year-old dudes and women singing Metallica tunes. You're like, what is this?
yeah.
What? And they're selling out 4 nights in the same stadium.
I
It's
know.
like it's amazing. And then Guns N' Roses. I mean, I'm not. I was a huge fan of the first album, but even them, wherever they go, the gold shines on
Yeah,
their ass. They've
I
got this legion of fans.
yeah. It's diehards, man. I'm with you. I
Mhm.
the first album I loved. I was all in, and then the other two albums, I Use Your Illusion. I was like, they kind of lost something. Well, they lost Steven, and then it was too produced. I felt, and maybe some of the
I mean,
songs were rushed because they weren't very good.
I can't fathom the stardom that hit those guys. I mean,
Yeah,
they came
that
from the
too.
gutter, and
That
then
I'm sure the pressure was just on. You know.
can you imagine? I mean, they had the Terminator track, which
Yeah.
you could be mine. That really kept them in the public eye with Terminator and all that stuff. But I mean, I remember those guys hanging out in clubs when I played, and they had something, this kind of it factor. Axel, especially, he would just saunter into a room and you couldn't take your eyes off. He had that thing, and he still got that thing. Like Angus Young, he's got that thing,
Right.
and people they like that thing, man.
Yeah, they do. And we were talking about how things changed from the 80s and 90s. It also happened at the end of the 70s as well. You know, a lot of those like Heart and Aerosmith were kind of put on the back burner until late, or I don't say late, mid 80s. They came out with some good stuff. They got new producers, but they all want them to do the hair thing and the da da da. But and that was like their comeback in a way. And so I think
And
what goes
rags
around
to
comes
riches
around.
back to rags to from rags to riches back to rags and then
Yeah,
back to ultra
eh,
riches. I mean, that's a testament to the talent of Aerosmith.
correct. And,
You
and
know,
I mean, and there's, I always say there's still time, right? This
Mm.
album can come out and people are gonna love it, right?
Yeah. So far, the single is radio has embraced it. It's the most radio play I've had in seems like a century. Um,
I would say I
and
played it
the
last week.
record, yeah, the people respond well.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get a lot of feedback on general on anything that I do as far as radio goes,
Yeah,
but most people go, that's cool, or right on,
that's all I
because
want. That's all I want.
all I
Recognition.
did last week, because everything prior was obviously Ozzy and Black Sabbath with everything that had happened,
Yep.
and
Mm.
so I had to put everything. And by the time I got to last week's show, I had so much new music that I'm like, I'm just gonna do a show devoted to all of the new music that I got, and so that's what
Well,
I did. And
we
and
have
I
to pay
like
tribute to Ozzy. I mean, it's normal. I pretty much during media it was like, hey man, we're going to take a week off and go Ozzy. That's you don't mind, do it?
right.
Absolutely not. You got to.
So what impact did he have on you?
Uh, huge. How can a guy
Was it more Sabbath than Ozzy, or
and when I started with him, yeah, I was more terrified of just this dark, scary music and lyrics. It was like, what in the hell is this? It was my LSD days, and smoking my brains out and with my friends sitting on our room cranking Sabbath records, and it kind of spine tingling, going, what is this? And then I got into Arthur Brown, and I got into like the early Deep Purple. Uh, my first record that I bought, two records the same day, was Alice Cooper, Schools Out, and Machine Head. But I was exposed to a plethora of that Sabbathy stuff. And that's what's amazing about their impact, is then when grunge came out, Soundgarden was like a new and improved Sabbath
Mhm.
with an incredible singer. And then you got Alice in Chains, which were doing basically Sabbath riffs in their own tunings, but it all, you could feel it had come out of that,
right,
you know. Now, Nirvana was more of a punk, Pixies kind of thing with
right,
a great front man, but it all goes full circle back to the Sabbath sound. But then when he got into his second wave of his success with Randy and Jake, they put out some extraordinary records. Then Zach, I mean, come on, who
yeah,
else replaced Dime but Zach? I mean,
I know,
it's just it speaks volumes what spawned out of that Sabbath thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
undeniable.
well, you didn't think, I mean, you always think, oh, he reached a lot of people, or they reached a lot of people, but you didn't realize. I don't know if you watched the back to beginning, any of that stuff. There's a lot of clips rolling around. I watched the whole thing, and it was pretty amazing to me. I don't think I realized what impact he had on everybody, and it wasn't just me or everybody else, but I mean the world, um, because you know he got the coolest send off ever. I mean, seriously,
How ironic.
right?
It's like he knew I got
But
to
that's
go out and
just
say goodbye.
yeah,
He
and it was
knew.
so
I think
amazing. And then he
but
passes, right? And then you see just how impactful it was. Because I mean, I could not get it. I mean, everything on YouTube, anything on my, I'm scrolling through anything is Aussie, and I was just like, holy crap, you know. I knew he
I mean, he had a
impacted a
pretty
lot of
good
people.
manager too. I mean, she could market,
Yeah,
a dead horse and make it work, but she had a character named Ozzy and doing, the Osbournes MTV. That was a
yeah,
huge success. That spawned all of these stupid MTV reality
yep,
shows. I mean, Family Jewels from Simmons came out after that. I mean, but it did not have the impact of following Ozzy around with a camera and seeing the real Ozzy, which so many of us could go, that dude's cool. He's
yeah,
funny, but
yeah,
he's, clapping his hands and screaming on stage, throwing water on people. I mean, it, he was real, man. Just like Lemmy. I mean,
yeah,
it's funny, if you talk about social media, we've lost a lot of great talent in the last couple of years. And you always see this onslaught of, oh, rest in peace, like Mick Ralph's Bad Company, great talent, Mott the Hoople and everything. All these great people that I grew up with, they get about 24 hours of,
yep,
media.
yep,
Ozzy last is still being
yep.
rumbled about the impact that he's had worldwide, a global thing, India, China. Um, I'm sure he wasn't even aware
Yeah,
how big he
I'm
was.
sure of it, and it sucks because, in the middle of that, we lost David Roach from Junkyard as well,
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
like I said, he got 24 hours about, "Oh, admit," and but it prompted me to, like, I'm going through my cassettes, right? And I'm just and whatnot. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I remember buying this Junkyard CD. I remember
Mhm.
buying Ozzy and Randy tribute." I have these cassettes still. Um,
I did shows with Junkyard. We were
yeah,
kicking it at the same time, Bangalore, and they were trying to get signed, and we were playing all over Hollywood, and they had a thing, Little Caesar, all these bands, Jesse and the guys, Jesse James Dupree, everybody kind of had something going on, and some of us were pulled out of that pile and the wood pile and put out records. But that 88, 89, 90 was kicking pretty hard. That's
yeah,
why
that
it's so
was
like
probably the
the earth
highlight.
stopped.
I mean,
It
geez.
stopped. I mean, the 87 record from Whitesnake, I think, really launched the end of it.
Yeah,
It was like, this is, Tony Katane and all this stuff. It was like, this isn't, it's getting weird. You know what I mean?
uh-huh. Over the
But
top. Everything's over the top.
yeah, Marty Callner doing those videos, those gigantic stages. And
Yeah,
it was like, okay, that stage they're going to bring out on tour. It's like a football field. The bands are running like marathons on stage. I mean, Maiden were doing it for years, but yeah, it got so bloated,
yeah,
and how many times can you talk about, getting it on with a chick and whoa,
right.
whoa,
That was like
hey,
every
hey.
other song. Literally.
Yeah, and he
Um,
always had the atypical power ballad had to be on
yeah,
the record or they wouldn't
yeah,
sign you. And you had like two or three of those in your toolbox, and they picked the one they thought was the hit.
right. So,
So let's talk about rapid fire succession, Bangalore Choir on Target Part Two.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so going back to the BC thing and the branding thing, I sat down with on Target and I called my faithful side chick. I call him my weapon of mass production, Andy Susamil, who played with Udo, Mean Machine, and he and I have done quite a few records together and have been friends forever. I said, let's write another on Target. Well, that's not an easy task, brother. Go back to 91 and try to think about what you were thinking about.
Right.
So our first go at it was like 4 or 5 songs, and I knew it wasn't quite there yet. And I think the next video that you're going to see in single is called Driver's Seat. Andy sent me that riff, and I go, that's what we're going. That's slipping away. That's it. And then we wrote Bullet Train. And then it's like the rain coming down. You know what I mean? You're dancing inside the
Right.
raindrops, and it
Yeah.
just started rolling. But it was a super challenge for me to go and try to replicate that vibe because I had gone off into some of the group Soundgarden stuff, and I kind of spent some years emulating Coverdale, which I found later to be a waste of freaking time. There's only one Coverdale. Everybody wanted to sing like Coverdale and write a Hammond keyboard rock song. Um, so I really focused on that. And we wrote about 24 tracks and recorded them. I took my rhythm section of my solo band, Ricardo Di Morosi on bass, and Malo 7 LA on drums. They live 5 minutes from me. So I've got this access to this killer
Oh,
studio
nice.
and Andy's riffs. And we started recording the vocals and going, okay, we're getting there. And then Mario Percadani from Hardline, guitar player, great songwriter and singer
Yeah.
as well. He and I have been writing together for years, and we've actually done some gigs in the UK together in Italy. I called him up. I said, "Hey, man, I'm doing this. What do you got?" He said, "Come over to the studio." So we wrote three together on the. So what happened was, as my life story goes, I end up with way too much, and I've got to pick the best of the bunch. So we ended up with 16 that go on the album. And Giles Lavery, the A&R at Brave Words, said, we need to do something like Steinman did with Meatloaf with this thing. So let's do an act one and an act two on the CD. So act one is 8 songs, act two is 8 songs. So there's 16 tracks.
Okay. Okay.
I reached out to Ferdy Dornberg, my brother from Axel Pell on keyboards to do some stuff. Jimmy Waldo played keyboards on one of the songs. Giles did some background vocals. I've kind of got some Angel and Back songs on it. I've got a Freight Train Rolling kind of similar track. I've got a ballad that I think is my money maker, not in a greed sense, but it's my money shot song that I wrote with Mario, which will become a video because I go to France in October, solo David Reece, Bangalore Choir. And I'm going to film that video because I got some really cool Gothic settings in France where I want to do that video. The driver's seat will be the next single with a video, which is done. The album comes out October 24th, 2025. You talked to Jimmy Waldo earlier, my dear friend.
Yep.
I'll be joining the Alcatraz tour from November through December with Girls School. And that's looking really, really. So the momentum's there, and I've got some big festivals booked for next year with Bangalore and Europe. Um, so I've got Hellfest, and I've got the Volcanic Fest, and I got a few others. So
Okay. I was going to ask you about that because it sounds like
yeah,
you're
excuse me, Headbangers. I'm doing in Germany.
you're doing some festivals next year. You got the
Mm-hmm.
album coming out, so things are starting to
Yeah,
pick up and roll, um, which is
yeah.
good.
As much as I want more, I mean, we all do. I mean, I want to play every day. The Alcatraz Girls School tours is going to be pretty rough. It's I think 16 days with 1 day off.
Right.
That's hard on singers.
Yeah.
So, but
Oh yeah.
it has to be that way in the economic world we live in. You can't take two,
Are
3 days off and rest.
you playing? Because I was talking to Jimmy, and they're playing on a Viking ship. And
Mhm.
are you playing that too?
No, they're kicking off 2 weeks before I join on
Okay.
in Scandinavia. I think they have a day off before we join up in Belgium. And I think the Belgian date would be the 25th of November. Yeah. So I think we all meet on the 24th, rest the day, and then we commence firing, you know. It's
Well, do
I
you
just saw
find?
Jimmy with Warlord open for Priest a month ago
Yeah, he
here
was
in
just
Italy.
talking about that. It's
Yeah.
like he said, like 10,000 people.
Yeah, it
And
was amazing to see. I'd seen Warlord in the spring in Italy at a really big club with like 10, I would say Manowar style
hmm
bands. I didn't know anybody. And I usually can walk into these places and go, hey, what's up, Reese? And people smile. And I didn't know this crowd. This is the Manowar metal style. But Warlord blew my mind. I was like, people knew the songs and the Italians, they're singing along, fisting and moshing. I went, uh-oh, this is working. Giles sang really well. And then he tells me that they got the priest slot. And I said, oh my God, I got to be there. So of course, they brought me in. And they pulled that off too. It was about 110 degrees that day and 90% humidity. But honestly, there was about 3,000 kids up front singing along. They pulled it off.
damn, that's
And it
awesome.
was a,
I mean, I'm glad you guys are getting work. And I was talking to him about this earlier, that about you know, because obviously he says he gets more work in Europe than he does in America. Is that the same for you as well?
yeah, I'm planning a US thing. I might go out with Babylon AD in the
Okay.
spring. 2026. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow. I knew those guys. They're out of Frisco. I think we did some gigs together, Bangalore and them, in the old days with Junkyard and all that crowd.
You have the same PR because I interview them.
Yeah, I mean,
tomorrow.
Grenbold suggested it. I have a couple other bands that he's working marketing for that just really weren't strong enough. And he goes, Dave, I think that we should do a AD and a Bangalore BC AD thing. I went, that's a great idea. So I talked to their manager, and I'm supposed to speak to him tomorrow and their agent. And I plan to try to do that late March, early April. But I would use an American band because financially it's retarded for me to think I can visa 4 guys over. It's just not going to work.
Are you able to get on any of these cruises? Like
Yeah, I'm working on that too. I've done them. I've done them in Europe. I've done the Norwegian ones, Denmark, Finland. I've done quite a few of them over here. But the American ones, I want 70,000 tons. I want M3. I want that. And
there's no reason to me. There's no reason why you can't do that. You know what I mean? There is absolutely no reason why you can't do Rocklahoma. There's absolutely no reason. And I was talking to Jimmy as well, like this. There's so many good bands that you could package and send on the road, because I told him, I listened to, Jim Florentine is, right? Or do you? So he has a show and he plays a lot of bands that were like Raven, like Riot, like stuff like that, right? And I was saying there's no reason why you can't package these bands because none of them are huge, but they're always requested, right? And it's people like us who are in the older generation who go to these shows. Maybe you'll get a little younger generation for sure, but there's no reason why you can't package this, 3 bands and
I'll
go
speak
out.
bluntly. I'll speak bluntly about that, and I'll agree with you 100%. I mean, the packages that you see going out every year, the 4-band packages, I'm sick of it in the U.S. It's like the same 4 bands turned together. It's like, all right, guys, come on, give Bangalore Choir, give Babylon, give even if they get a new singer for Junkyard, give them a shot. Jackal, where they're not just playing their home territory. Let us get a piece of the pie, and I think the audience is ready for that as well, because I talk to a lot of people every day and they're like, so-and-so is coming again with so-and-so. I've seen it 3 times. I'm not going to spend $500 to go see the same set list again. Yawn. Why don't you guys do a package thing? And I'm like, yeah. So, but I'm not going to lie. I mean, the reason they do that repetitive package thing is because the promoters are making money.
Right.
It's a safe bet. And everybody's afraid to have an empty room. So they're not willing to step out of the box.
Yeah.
But the fans deserve it. And I'm getting pretty tired of it, hearing what some of these bands are being paid. And they don't even have it. They have maybe an original number or
correct.
They're playing
like a foreigner.
1980. Yeah, well, I'm not going to badmouth Kelly because
no, I'm not badmouthing. I'm just saying there's one member.
I'm more on the ABC level. I'd say I'm a B+ artist, honestly, here, and I'm probably that there. But these B+ acts that are going out repetitively, it's like, come on, man. Step out of the box. In their home state, they can draw 500 people on their own, but nobody will touch them from Arizona to New Mexico.
Right.
Okay. So festivals are really big here. Thank God, the European market and the venues that have managed to survive COVID. We lost a lot of good ones, but I'm not even really sure what's available in public.
Right.
I've done Rocklahoma.
One thing I Ozzy did well as well, Sharon, was create Ozfest, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Ozfest, then none of these festivals would even exist nowadays because it wasn't like that.
Papa Roach just played here and they were on Ozfest. I mean, a lot of those bands may not have, and they did really well on the stage with Ozfest, but a good thing was that it bled over here.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see Corey Taylor solo, and then 2 months later he's here with Slipknot, and Papa Roach was just here, sold out. Lincoln Park, I don't know how they pulled that off. 80,000 people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My wife is a huge fan. It's crazy. I
Yeah,
mean, they played it like a horse race track, and my wife said there was 80,000 people there, and they got
that's
a girl singing for them,
yep.
and it worked.
Well, I think that was the right move. Um,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, there was nobody that was going to replace Chester, and I thought
Mm.
that was and I liked her. She played Dead Sarah, and I liked her first time I seen them. I was blown away. But anyway, yeah, I just think if it wasn't for Ozfest, there would be no festivals as we know it today. Um,
Yeah.
and it brought a lot of bands out. I kind of wish they would do something like that again. I mean, there's a lot of festivals in general, so they pretty much have it where the same bands are playing the same festivals in different cities. They're just named different, right? But I would like to see you guys play M3. I like to see you guys play Rocklahoma or do the cruises that are coming. I think those are good opportunities. I was talking to Jimmy about this as well. As Metallica earlier in the year, when they were doing their 2-day set, would have like Overkill play in the parking lot, right? Or they'd have Suicidal play in the parking lot before the shows. And I thought, what a freaking amazing idea. Why couldn't, you know, you guys play or, whoever? It doesn't, you don't have to be a huge band to play in a parking lot, but you imagine how many eyes would be on you just as they're going into the show. I think that would be.
Mhm.
I wish they were still doing that. I don't know why they stopped doing that, but I think they just.
Probably laws, drinking laws, tailgating parties. I mean, somebody probably beat somebody up and did something
It
stupid,
could be.
and the insurance is so insane. And Live Nation and all these huge promoters pretty much own every venue now. They own everything,
I didn't
all the
realize
merch,
that
all the
till. Yeah, I didn't realize that
yeah,
till last week. That Live Nation owned.
exuberant ticket. Yeah, they've got the monopoly, which, and I think in Congress are trying to put a stop to that
I
because
did hear
it's
that.
basically destroyed the smaller venues where the fans will save that money, work real hard all year, husband and wife, or we're single guy, single girl, and go, my vacation time is this. I'm going to that festival. I get to see 20 bands
Right.
rather than go to my hometown gig and see the same band I've seen 3 times every year for $50 and spend $1,500 in hotels and stuff. I'm going to go and have an experience. Get on a cruise ship, drink for free all day, see 50 bands that I've always heard about, want to see what they're like,
Mm-hmm.
go swim in the pool, and then have the community of people that are there and they're stuck on a boat and they're having fun,
Yeah. And I,
releasing.
yeah, I absolutely hope all this works out and that you guys get to do
Me
this.
too.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna pull up. I believe this is the new album. Here
that's it. I
and
will give credit to the artist. That's Simon Zut. I do. I have sang on some. There's a band called Goot, and they're Russian guys. A couple of Italians in the band, and they're really a great band. I want to give them a plug. They have saved me during COVID. Otherwise, I'd starve to death. But Simon, the bassist, designed that. I wanted to kind of into the on target cover, the similarity, and I got pretty close, I think.
yeah, for
So
sure. I mean,
there's
I
a
love
reason
the
for
pinup style. I love,
it.
you know,
Yeah, man.
the planes and it kind of goes into a. I want to say, is it a falcon? These lines,
I
I
don't know
can't.
what it is. It's Rosie the Riveter on ecstasy, I think, with the
Yeah,
cigar in
right,
her hand. I don't know what it
for
is,
sure.
but
Well, and I
a
like
little bit of
they have like Cape Town. I can see the maps, and it gives me this early vibe. I don't know if you
mhm.
you get it as well. But
That's why I did it.
absolutely. I love this album cover. Which
Thank you.
we're missing nowadays. I don't know if you feel the
Mhm.
same way,
It
but
doesn't have that AI fake, monsters
correct.
destroying a city with lasers kind of thing. I wanted to get away from that,
Yeah.
and be a little bit more organic, and even the airplanes, they're not. updated jets that you see fighting now. This is stuff from World War II.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. I love it. I love it. Um, who? What was the band that you were plugging? How do you pronounce it?
Goot, Goot. And the really sad thing about it is because of the war and everything, they have to kind of work behind the scenes because the way Putin is controlling what's
Yeah,
going out of there. So, but they have been, I mean, one of the most professional, nicest, we just want to play rock and roll. Will you sing on our record? And I didn't know who they were. But since being involved, I think I've sang on 3 of their albums. But I've realized they're like a self contained monster that has to do everything on their own. And I just want the people out there, if you get a chance, check out Goot. They've got other singers on some of their records. They're heavy, they're melodic, and I think they deserve attention. And then the way they have to do this politically, it sucks. And I'm going to probably do another record with them. I said I'm not really contractually able to do anything until after March next year, but I said I'd be honored to sing on another one of their albums. So Goot,
cool.
Goot.
All
Check them
right.
out. And Simon Zoot, the bassist, did the artwork for the record. I gave him my concept, and we went back and forth, and that's what we finally came up with. He gets kudos from me, 100%.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great album cover. I love it. Um, so we're gonna wrap this up. I know it's been a while. Where can people find you?
David Reese's Bangalore Choir page, pardon me, and then Facebook, of course. Both of them are Facebook pages. Instagram, Bands in Town. I cannot stress enough. If you want to find out where we're playing, go to Bands in Town. We're updating that perpetually. That's another thing where Michael Brandvold said, "You guys that have been doing it as long as David Reese has are clueless for reaching the masses. You have to follow this mantra to
Yeah.
get that click and go, oh, they're playing in my village or they're playing in that town, which is the way I'm going." I suggest that to all the bands. If you guys want the exposure, you got to earn it, man. You got to work it. So that's how you find David. I'm very much into, if they're not being weirdos, I'll respond. I get asked a lot of questions that I prefer not to answer, but a lot of times it's just people going, "Man, it's so cool to hear your new single, Bullet Train. I can't wait for the album to come out." And it works, and then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get into a dialogue with them about, how do you know about this? And, oh, I have this. They'll send photos. And that's weird thing about my career, like Eat the Heat, right, with Accept. They destroyed me in the public. But during the Udo tours and all the tours that I've done, people are coming to me with Eat the Heat saying, "Forgive me. I've really grown to love this record." 35 years late, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
Bangalore Choir on Target. Same thing. The people will show up for that record and go, "I love this record," with their kid, like you said earlier, who knows my songs and has made his own Bangalore Choir t-shirt and wants me to sign a drumstick or a set list. That's what matters. Yeah.
And I would agree
So,
with you.
I mean, it's just treat your fans better than you treat yourself. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Without the fans, I am jack shit. Without you, dude, talking to me about my career, I got nothing. And I'm that's just the way it is. There's two kinds of musicians. There's guys like you and there's guys like you, right? I believe that firmly.
Yeah,
There's a social media musician. That's what I call them. They're people who love music and
yeah.
live for music and have probably been kicked in the balls trying to get something off the ground and done many different ways to
Well,
do it. And
it,
you're doing it.
it's
And I thank you for that. I
yeah,
mean,
it's the
I know
same.
how it is.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. Just trying to get it out there, trying to get people to listen or watch
If I
or
can
do
help,
whatever.
send me this. I will promote you to my death. I mean, it's
Sure do.
because
I'll
it
send you
helps
the
me.
link to this interview and
Yeah,
whatnot, and you can do what you want with it. But it'll be on YouTube.
absolutely.
So anyway, but
Perfect.
David, I wanna thank you for hanging out with me, spending the time, chatting with me, going over a lot of material here. I do wish you all the best. I hope that you get on these tours that you guys deserve. I mean, I say deserve, but you know as well as I do, it's not what you deserve, it's what you sign, right? It's your contracts, it's this and that. But I really do hope that you guys,
Pull the trigger. I'm telling the promoters, pull the
y-
trigger.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
they lose money, I lose money. It's not like I want to go into an office.
yeah,
Well, there was only 200 people here, and I don't want to pay. You know how many times I've been through that? I've
yeah,
seen guns pulled out and laid on the table saying, man, I was shitting. You were shitting green when I started doing this, dude. And you're like, well, I still got to pay my guys. No, you're
yeah,
not getting nothing. Get out of my office. And then they beg you for 100 posters for their city. And I do all of this background work and I mail them to them. And I'm sitting in the office and I look behind his chair. And there's all my posters on the floor. And I go, well, what about that? Well, that costs me money. That's $10 a guy to go put them up. Oh, really? Well, I just spent 5 grand to get over here. You
right,
know what? The people that were here, they stood in line for 30 to 45 minutes to get a picture with me and to talk to me about my songs. What are you talking about? It's like, and then they'll say the problem with that and then all the other promoters, you've seen all these YouTube videos, you see the side of the stage of the band
uh-huh.
performing. There's a reason for that because nobody's out front. I want to see heads from the soundboard standing up on the
Oh
platform,
yeah, yeah,
filming down. Okay. You're not fooling anybody by putting out videos, guys, shooting from the side of the stage of your girlfriend standing right up against a barricade shooting her boyfriend.
right.
Okay. Get the word out because promoters are watching every other venue going, you making money? Are you selling beer? How was it last night? They all know each other.
So are you okay with it with the cell phones being out as well?
Yeah. I mean, at first it was weird, because I didn't really think they were watching the band.
Right.
And I didn't know how I felt about it, but as the years gone on, it's part of the game. I see bands saying, leave your cell phone here or not allowed. You
Yeah.
know what? Screw you, man. If that guy wants to record your show and upload it when he gets home, I was there with all his friends, having a good time. That's part of it, man. Deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I've
good
seen
promotion for
singers,
you as well.
good promotion, bad promotion is still
Yeah.
promotion.
Yeah. I
Not
would agree
everybody
with you.
loves what I do.
Except for I don't want to be the guy right behind the guy that's filming. I'm the guy that wants to
That's kind of a
watch the
drag.
show
Yeah.
because
You know,
I'm
I
not.
and
I'm short, so it's like, I don't need.
well,
I don't need that. But
I seem
I
to
get what you're
attract the
saying,
guys that are like
and
5 inches taller.
yeah,
They stand
right.
in front of me
I'm
with
gonna wear my
my
I'm gonna wear my kiss boots. That's what you do.
There you go.
All right, David. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank
I
you, my
appreciate
brother.
it.
Loved
I
it, man.
if if you're coming in town or anything, um, if you got anything to promote, just let Michael know. Hit me up, and
I'll be
I
all
hope
over it,
I
dude,
hope you guys come
tomorrow.
to America, and we'll do something
You
for
got it,
sure.
brother. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. And
Uh,
thank you for all your listeners for paying attention to my garbling, warbling. And thank you for paying attention to Bangalore Choir. And thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to talk about this.
Absolutely. You enjoy. Have a good day.
Over and out.